I think it's so easy to feel like we're locked in to whatever personality we've shown to the people around us. And we fear that perception and judgment of others if we were to change up. Like it's the fear that keeps us stuck and keeps us acting out that same programming that we're used to. We perform for the people around us. And we feel like because we've always operated this way, because this is what people expect from us, we just have to keep on. But I think it's important to explore that fear first. You don't have to leave your hometown to start over. Now, if your mind is already made up, I'm not trying to change it. However, I do want to offer up some alternate solutions and also just some questions that you may want to ask yourself before taking that leap. I don't know what it is, but we just always feel like if we just pack our bags, quit our job, turn our back to our past, we could just go to a new place where nobody knows us and we'll just automatically show up being that new version of ourselves. But the first thing you should ask is, what is stopping me from becoming that new version of myself right here where I'm at? When I was younger, I used to imagine and I would daydream about me like starting over at a new school, being popular, being outgoing, being everything I felt scared to be in my current reality. And I really used to play out the scenarios in my head. And I would just think like, dang, if I could just have that chance to do it over, I would do this different. I would show up in this way. I wouldn't be so reserved and closed off. I would feel more comfortable and I would start clean just showing up as I am without the fear. But it was a part of me that felt like I can't do that with the people that already know me. Almost like I felt like it was too late. I think it's so easy to feel like we're locked in to whatever personality we've shown to the people around us. And we fear that perception and judgment of others if we were to change up. Like it's the fear that keeps us stuck and keeps us acting out that same programming that we're used to. We perform for the people around us. And we feel like because we've always operated this way, because this is what people expect from us, we just have to keep on. And that brings me to my second question that you should ask. Have you healed or at least reflected on the blockages that you have that prevent you from taking action on your accomplishments, your goals, or whatever it is you want to achieve by leaving? Whatever this new reality that it is that you want to create, what type of person do you have to embody to become that? And I think you have to really be honest with yourself on if you're ready to show up as that person. And it's not just as easy as you think to, like, oh, I'm gonna just turn on a switch. And once I go out there, I'm just gonna be that. Because what I will say is the adrenaline and the excitement of you actually making the move, it will sustain you. It will give you almost like a supernatural strength to just start doing the things that you thought were impossible for yourself, or just the things that you felt were impossible back home. But 9 times out of 10, if you have not done the inner work that's required for you to actually maintain that persona, it's not going to last very long. Once that high wears off, you will revert to your natural habits. They haven't gone anywhere. They're locked in your subconscious mind. They're in your default settings, and you really got to work hard to reprogram yourself into making change. And it starts inside. It's not as easy as just leaving. And the thing about life is, I truly believe that the experiences we have, the people we meet, they're all a reflection of what we think about ourselves, what we feel we deserve, what we feel we're capable of maintaining and receiving. So without that internal work, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to attract that same reality that you just left. because because everything around you is going to be a reflection of who you still are on the inside. And again, it's all subconscious. So you won't even realize it's happening until you look up one day and you're going to be like, ain't this what I just left? You'll literally create the same reality and it's going to drive you crazy. Groundhog's Day, literally.
Right, woodchuck chuckers, it's Groundhog Day! Get up and check that hog out there! Yeah! Ooey, ooey, come here, Groundhog!
What the hell?
And you talk about heartbreak, whew. Because not you thinking that you done cracked the code, not you thinking that you really escaped something, only to be right on back. Because you're going to be back and you're going to be mad. Speaking from experience. Question number 3. Have you sought out new places, new groups, new activities in your hometown? Why don't you check that first? Because 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of resources that are around us that we overlook just because we're actually from the place we're from. Yet a tourist can come from out of town and have a full itinerary, full spots, full restaurants, full events that we've never really thought to look at because, it's just our day to day. But you don't think to actually research new places. You'd be surprised what's actually around you. You'd be surprised what's under your nose, really. Because if you think about it, the things that create a new reality for you, most likely it starts with the people, new connections. It's also about your activities, the things you partake in. It could be a job, new job setting, new romantic relationship. Any of those things can happen where you're at. So it's not necessarily about changing a physical place, but it's about changing your daily habits. Switch up your routine. You can find a new hangout spot that really speaks to you, that's different from your norm, the norm of just like going to a bar and having drinks, typical turn up scene. You never know what's around you. And imagine you finding a spot that you feel comfortable in, and then that unlocks new like minded people that also do that same thing where you're able to connect. Or like I'm saying, you network and then you have a new job that you work out. So then there's new co-workers, new boss, new job duties. Is that not a new life? And right where you at without you having to go somewhere, it's not the place. It's the people and the habits that you change within. Because honestly, think about it. One of the main reasons people want to leave their hometown is because they want new environment. Is that not a new environment? You switching up the places that you frequent and changing your daily habits and activities is going to create the same effect, a placebo effect. Trick your mind. It don't know the difference. I think you just have to break up the monotony of it. I mean, when we're in a routine and we do the same thing day in and day out, we're just stuck in a rut. And you just want to break out of that. But if you can get outside of the idea and the perspective that the only way for me to break up this monotony is to actually physically pack up and leave, you'll see and realize that you have a lot more control over that change, over that monotony that you really haven't looked into. Something that I've gotten in the habit of doing is looking at Eventbrite frequently. And surprisingly, I found a lot of events, a lot of activities, even some Facebook groups that are in my local area. There's been a lot of things that have come on my radar that I wouldn't have not even thought about. TikTok is another good resource. Like, you really will be surprised what you find in your area. And I really would check those avenues first. Do your due diligence to really at least start breaking out and just exploring new things. You'd be surprised what those little changes can do over time. And also, just one last thing, not necessarily a question, but just something that I feel is helpful to be mindful of is don't underestimate how much your village, your community, your support system that you already have means to you. Don't underestimate the feeling of familiarity. Because like I said, when that high wears off, you're going to want something that you know. You're going to want somebody that you know. When that depression hit, when that anxiety hit, when you realize that you're so far away from the people who know you, who love you, and you gotta, you pretty much on your own. I mean, even if you make friends when you go out there, they're still pretty surface level. You're still getting to know these people. And look, trust is hard to come by. It's hard to find quality people, and it's hard to find people that you can open up to. It's hard to find people that aren't out for self, that actually genuinely want companionship without any hidden agendas and motives. People that will love you for you. And you don't realize how important that is and how necessary that is until you don't have it. There are plenty of times where I would be away from home and I would scroll on Facebook and I would see my family and my friends at gatherings, at birthday celebrations and cookouts, the holidays. And I'd be looking like, I wish I was there. Like, I miss it. I miss being there for the little things. And yeah, you can go visit, they can come visit you, but it still isn't the same when you're not quite there. Like, you'll be surprised how much you miss, literally and figuratively. And I'm not saying all of this to discourage you from leaving. Like I said, if this is something that you made your mind up on, something you feel led to do, by all means do it. But I think it's worth considering if that change or if that pull is because you really feel like it's time, or is it more of an idea of like you feel like that's the only way things will be different. Or just because you hear people talk so much about you should leave your hometown to experience new, to learn more, which is true. You grow a lot when you leave, but if you change internally, you're going to grow and you're going to learn anyway. If you make new connections, put yourself out there to create new opportunities for yourself, you'll grow. It's not always necessary to leave, and I don't stand by that. And even if you are supposed to leave, I think it's necessary to prepare mentally, spiritually, emotionally for that change. Because again, change happens internally. It happens in here, it happens in here, not out here. But I don't know. Just something to think about.